welcome to my channel. This is the chapter 2 of Emperor's Ring. The next day, we left for the Imambara after an early lunch. Baba and Dhiru Kaka went in the car. Feluda and I both chose to ride in a tonga. It was great fun. I had never ridden in a horse-drawn carriage before. Feluda had, of course. It was his view that a bumpy ride in a tonga was very good for one's digestion. Dhiru Kaka has such an excellent cook that I can see it's going to be difficult to not indulge myself, he said. So I think an occasional ride in a tonga is a good idea. Bumping through the new and unfamiliar streets, we finally reached a place that the Tongawala said was called Kesarbagh. See how they have mixed Urdu and German? Feluda remarked. Most of the well-known Mughal buildings were around Kesarbagh. The Tongawala began pointing them out. There's Badshah Manzil, and that's Chandiwali Baradari, and that's called Laku Phatak. The path led through a huge gate. This is Rumi Darwaza, we were told. Beyond the Rumi Darwaza was Machli Bhavan, which is where the Burra Imambara stood. I gaped, speechless, at its sheer size. I had no idea a palace could be so massive. We had spotted Dhiru Kaka's car from our tonga. We paid the Tongawala and went to join the others. Baba and Dhiru Kaka were talking to a tall, middle-aged man. Feluda laid a hand on my shoulder and spoke under his breath. Black Standard Herald. True enough, there was a black Standard Herald parked right next to Dhiru Kaka's car. Look at that fresh mark on the mudguard. How do you know it's fresh? It's white paint, can't you see? That car must have brushed against a newly painted wall or a gate. If the car wasn't washed this morning, that mark could well have got there last night. Dhiru Kaka greeted us. Come and meet Bono Bihari Babu, the man with the zoo in his house. Surprised, I raised my hands in a namaskar. Was this indeed the strange man? He was fair, about 6 feet tall, sported a thin mustache and a pointed beard, and wore gold-framed glasses. The whole effect was quite impressive. He thumped on me on the back and said, How do you find the capital of Lakshman? You do know, don't you, that in the ancient times, Lucknow was known as Lakshmanavati. His voice matched his personality. Bono Bihari Babu was going to Chowk Bazar, said Dhiru Kaka. He stopped here only because he saw our car. Yes, said the gentleman. I usually go out in the afternoon. Most of my mornings and evenings have to be devoted to the animals. In fact, said Dhiru Kaka, we were planning to descend on you. These two are very interested in seeing your zoo. Good. You're welcome any time. Why don't you come today? I'm always happy to receive visitors, but most people are too scared to step into my house. They think the cages I have put my animals in are not as strong as those in a regular zoo. If that was the case, how do you suppose I have survived all these years? Everyone laughed at his little joke, with the only exception of Feluda. He leaned closer to me and muttered, The man is reeking with attar. Attempt at hiding the smell of animals, probably. The Standard, as it turned out, did not belong to Bono Bihari Babu. for I saw him call his driver from a blue ambassador and give him a couple of letters to post. Then he said to us, "You will see the Imambara, won't you? We can go back to my place afterwards. Are you coming with us?" "Yes, why not? I have been in it just once before." That was in 1963, 2 days after I have arrived in Lucknow. It was time I saw again what those Nawabs could get up to. We passed through the gate and began walking across the large courtyard towards the main building. 200 years ago, said Bono Behari Babu, walking by my side, Nawab Asaf ud-Dawla built this palace. He wanted it to outshine all the buildings in Agra and Delhi. So, a competition was held among the most well-known designers and architects. The best design was selected, and you can see the final result. It may not be as beautiful as some of the other Mughal buildings, but it is certainly the number one as far as the size of the palace goes. No other palace in the world has such a large audience hall. A whole football stadium could fit into this, I thought, staring at the hall. But that wasn't all. Outside, there was a massive well. The Nawab had clearly thought big. The guide told us the well was used for punishing criminals. They were simply thrown into it and no one ever saw them again. But what took my breath away was Bulbulaya. Little passages ran in all possible directions. No matter where I went or what corner I turned, it always seemed as though I was back where I'd begun. All passages were identical. Walls on both sides, a low ceiling, and in the middle of the wall, a tiny niche. The guide said that when the Nawabs played hide and seek with their queens, oil lamps used to burn in those little niches. The thought of flickering lamps in those spooky little passages gave me goosebumps. I noticed Feluda kept very close to the wall, but I couldn't understand why he was lagging behind all of us. Then I got totally absorbed into the excitement of going through this winding maze and had forgotten all about him, until I heard Baba exclaim, "Oh, where is Felu?" I turned around quickly. Feluda was nowhere to be seen. My heart missed a beat. However, only a few seconds later, he reappeared after Baba called out to him. "If I were to walk so fast," he said, "I couldn't possibly get an idea of how the maze is designed." The door at the end of the last passage in the maze opened onto the huge roof of the Imambara. It had a wonderful view. One could see practically the whole of Lucknow from it. There were a few other people already on the roof. One of them, a young man, came walking towards Dhiru Kaka, smiling. "Mahabir?" Dhiru Kaka exclaimed. "When did you arrive?" "3 days ago. I always return to Lucknow at this time of the year. I'll go back after Diwali. I have 2 friends with me, so we were out sightseeing." "This is Pyare Lal's son," said Dhiru Kaka. "He lives in Bombay. He's an actor." I looked at Mahabir. He was staring at Bono Bihari Babu as though he had seen him before. "Have we met before?" asked Bono Bihari Babu, echoing my thoughts. "Yes, I think so," Mahabir replied. "But for the life of me, I can't remember where." "I met your father once, but you were not here then." "Oh, I see," said Mahabir, embarrassed. "I must have made a mistake. Sorry. Well, I must get back to my friends. Namaskar. He left. He must be younger than Feluda, I thought. A good-looking man and very well built. Perhaps he was interested in sports. Bono Bihari Babu said, "It might be a good idea to go to my place now. If you must see the animals, it is best to do so in daylight. I haven't yet been able to arrange lights in their cages." We paid the guide and went down. A staircase ran from the roof straight to the ground floor. Just as we came out of the gate, I saw Mahabir and his friends get into the Black Standard. And that is the end of chapter 2. Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you all in the next video.